G'day footy fans and welcome to Boothy's AFL Fantasy Dream Team podcast. Today, only hours before the game in round 3 on the Friday night, I'm looking at cheap options to trade in if it's not too late and who to make captain for this round. So the cheap options, I've had a look at all of them and had to think about it, and the ones under 200,000 or 250,000 I suppose. The only ones I would consider bringing in are the following. Newman from Sydney, who got 77 in his first game last week. It's a 24-year-old player, and it looks like there's a spot for him, and he looks quite attacking in a sense. So he's a 175 defender now, but I think worth bringing in. Berry, his first game for Brisbane, highly touted midfield type that playing today as a running defender, or this weekend I should say, for Brisbane. He'll cost you 218, but he is a defender mid, so you can bring him into the mid or defence. Miles, who played a tough game against Adelaide last week for Hawthorn, but I think Hawthorn are doing a sort of semi-rebuild, so I think he's still worthwhile as a mid-forward 164 player. He got 54 last week, but as I said, had a tough day at the office. Balich, who I've got in my main team as per my podcast a few days ago, as a mid-forward 150, so you can bring him to mid or your forward depending on where you have issues. And Freo's definitely in a rebuild, and they made 6 changes, and I did call it that I put him on my field on Monday, and he's still there in the team ready to go, so still pick him as a 150. That's exciting. And Parsons, his profile is a 20-year-old from Geelong. He's a running midfield type, attacking midfield type, and they've dropped Darcy Lang, who I rate quite highly, for Parsons this week, and of course Holland Smith is injured. So Parsons looks quite promising and is only a 150 forward. So he's another option if you only wanted to make minor changes to your team, depending on how much money you have. So they're the 5. All the other players who are playing this week who are cheap, I wouldn't pick for a number of reasons. They're either sort of marking type forwards that don't get big scores sometimes, or I don't think their job security is huge, or their key backman like Durden, who's only going to get 1 game because Thompson's been suspended. And as I said, Tim Smith from Melbourne's one I was talking about before. Hogan's got 2 weeks out, but I wouldn't pick Tim Smith because he might only get 2 games. So they're the 5 I would pick for a number of reasons, due to job security or their skill level or the type of scoring they might do in Dream Team. So that's what I would consider those 5. Now, in terms of captains for this week, look, the only captains I would recommend, if you've already got them, obviously, are Dangerfield, Zach Merritt, Rockcliffe, and Tom Mitchell, who's the cheapest of the 4. And the other players, if you've got them and you don't have those top 4 there, that you would consider picking are Grundy from Collingwood, due to Sydney not having Tippett and Cox not playing. So Grundy averages 110 when Cox doesn't play for Collingwood as a sole ruckman. And without Tippett there, of course, he might be quite prolific against Sydney with the inexperienced combination of ruckman with Sinclair and, of course, with Naismith. So Grundy, if you've got him and nothing else. Fife, playing the Bulldogs, who are tough, but over in Freo, they don't tend to tag, so Fife could do really well. But again, I'd go with those top 4 if you can. Josh Kennedy from Sydney, who is the bogeyman, who plays really well against Collingwood up there, so he could be a good captain, but his scores haven't been consistently high. And Sloane from Adelaide, he got 150 last week, and if you've got him or want to bring him in, go for it, because I think Sloane against Port Adelaide even will do very, very well. So just repeating that, I'd have Dangerfield captain number 1, or Zach Merritt, Rockcliffe or Tom Mitchell if you've got them as one of your captains. But Grundy, Fife, Kennedy and Sloane is the next tier of captain options if you've got them or want to bring them in. Other than that, be careful with Treloar, because he just ran laps and didn't train fully earlier in the week, but I think he's fine. But be careful with guys like that. And Heppel went from 150 to about 98 this week. So even Heppel, look, you can, and Gaff's the other one. If you want to make him captain, that's fine. But you know, if you're talking about consistent performers over the last couple of years, you're talking Dangerfield, you're talking Zach Merritt, Rockcliffe, Tom Mitchell, quite frankly. So good luck, guys. Please comment, please subscribe, and enjoy. And good luck with your teams. Get your lock in tonight by, I think, 7:20 or 7:50 Eastern. Bye for now.